which is life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, it appears that they are completely diametrically opposed to that concept, and therefore, they are my enemy. Alex, let's talk about this strange occult strangeness that seems to be spreading everywhere. The Illuminati types, the meditation rooms in the United Nations, they all have this weird symbology all over the place, and people just don't get it.
And they believe they get power out of it and power from it, and it's growing. And looking into John Tigrit and his son Isaac Tigrit, who basically set up all this Egyptology stuff in Memphis.
Yeah.
You can pull them up. They admit they're into the occult. They admit that they put secret charms and see that as a temple of power, and that they're going to get power out of it. And that's why they want to be God. That's why they will endanger the entire world to get life extension technologies or to get super energy weapons. That's why they will do anything to get control, because they crave it. And they love having us at their mercy, like all other psychopaths and control freaks do. And it's up to us good people to get involved and realize that our forebears understood this compulsion to power. And our forebears were so confident, so cool, so smart. They tried to develop a system that would allow good, wholesome, intelligent, truly enlightened people to come to the fore. See, the devil always creates a counterfeit. And that's what they've done.
Yes.
You know, I say we should illuminate people to liberty and freedom and bring light to the world. People say, well, that's Illuminati. No, it's not. They want a dark sunshine. They want a twisted version of that. They actually seek to keep the general public in the dark and only themselves illuminated to use the knowledge to enslave people. And that's not even a true illumination, because you would want to empower everybody if you were truly, in the light of God. So these people are very, very dark, very, very dangerous. And they are deceived. They are minions of this system. And I'm going to talk more about that when I get back tomorrow. In fact, I'm planning to broadcast. I'm going to do something experimental live as I drive down the road. They've got good enough G4 down I-35 corridor that I'm going to put the camera in the front of the RV, and I'm going to broadcast live as we hurtle down the road. And John B. Wells, in closing, I'm going to turn this over to you. Thank you for letting me have an update here. I appreciate the amazing work you do, and you've got the coolest looking studio if folks aren't watching on Prisonplanet.tv. Your studio looks like $1 billion. So do you. I'm so honored to have somebody classy and just a great mind like yourself here. We're very honored that you take time out of Coast to Coast AM and your voice career to join us. So John B. Wells, you take it away, and thank you so much for sitting in.
Thank you very much for letting me be here, Alex. I mean, wow, that was very complimentary and quite over the top. I mean, if there was no Alex Jones, there would be no John Wells sitting here. We'll be back with Craig Hulet. Spoken with him many times, but it's much like speaking with Alex. Those times are not long enough, and they're too few and far between. He will let you know just exactly how far your privacy has gone down. Well, you know. This is the Alex Jones Show. We shall return shortly. Oh, I do? All right. All right, technological difficulties is no big deal. We do have 30 seconds. Ah, there's the music. All right. See, I don't know about you, but compliments really, really mess me up. All right, well, in the last remaining seconds, please visit us at caravantomidnight.com. You may find something there you could really use based on our chat with Dr. Theresa Dale. And again, Craig Hulet is next. Thank you for bearing with me while I get my sea legs on the Alex Jones Show. All right, hello, everybody. John B. Wells, normally the Saturday night Coast to Coast AM host, in for, and just a little while ago with Alex Jones, who's coming back from Chantilly, Virginia, and the Bilderberg Summit meeting, confab, or whatever you might call it, conspiracy, I call it. And now I am happy to welcome, once again, a very good friend of our cause, which is getting the truth out there and just letting everybody know what color the cow is and where it went over the fence. And that would be Craig Hulet. He He's been both a speechwriter and special assistant for special projects to Congressman Jack Metcalf, retired. He's been a consultant to federal law enforcement agencies, BATF and E, Justice Department, Homeland Security for over 25 years. He's written 4 books on international relations and philosophy, and his latest is The Hydra of Carnage: Bush's Imperial War-Making and the Rule of Law, an analysis of the objectives and delusions of the empire. Craig, my friend, welcome back on a different show, but same story, and it's a good story.
Different show, same story. Very well put.
Well, we, I was only able to speak with you an hour last week, and that was just not enough. And when Alex said, "Hey, will you do this?" It's like, yeah, absolutely. He goes, get anybody on there you want. I'm like, oh, I definitely want Craig Hulet. So here you are. I'm not sure people are aware how far down the road their privacy has gone. Maybe you could just bring them up to speed on that quickly. The NSA is lying. The U.S. government has copies of most of your emails, every fax, every landline, everything, every keystroke. It's all up there in Utah, I guess.
Yes, and it's gone to the point now where I have to admit for the first time in 30 years of doing this work publicly that at this point there really isn't a whole lot the American people can do about it. It's gone to such a degree that the courts, the legislation that's being passed, violating our civil liberties, is so pervasive now that it would take a complete overturning of the federal judiciary and both House and Senate to rectify it. I don't see anything like that happening in my lifetime. But yes, every email, everything that you say and do right on the Internet, even landline, GPS, cell phones, NSA now has a copy of it. They have been copying it, downloading it for years. Finally, William Biney, one of the newest whistleblowers that the government is actively pursuing, trying to indict, has been interviewed a number of times in different places around the country, and he's made it very clear that the NSA is in fact lying when they say that they're not eavesdropping, and the degree to it, to the Freedom of Information Act, what's been revealed just in the last few weeks is just absolutely devastating. If you so much as use words like aid, relief, recruitment, disaster, snow, my favorite one is pork,
right,
in an email or on a cell phone, those words trigger further investigation into your phone conversations, emails, your Internet activity. And this has been going on for quite some time. This is actually a Homeland Security list that's in a binder that analysts are given that pursue this kind of eavesdropping on the American people. So this is a legitimate list. And in fact, I've had 2 experiences myself with emails that I send out to my client base where I've used a few words on 2 different occasions, and it has completely shut down my email and my website. Everything gets shut down. And I have to go to the server, and they have to issue what is called a false positive with a certain coded number. And they have to go in and actually reset up my entire system and allow me back online, able to send emails. So I use these kinds of words all the time, but unfortunately, as well do you in your words. So, So basically what this amounts to is these words are part of a new definition of what constitutes a potential threat to the government, not just terrorism, but any kind of militant or organized threat to the government, domestic or foreign. And the definition is now so broad that it basically charges everybody in America with being suspicious before the fact. And then afterwards, if they decide they want to investigate you under the new CISPA, House-passed CISPA, they can actually issue a memorandum from the White House or Homeland Security demanding that I, for instance, turn over information on John Wells, for instance. And I can't tell John Wells or anybody else that I've been told to do so, or I'll be prosecuted. So this is being done completely in the dark and in secret, and it's happening on an ongoing basis. And basically, as it stands today, according to Glenn Greenwald, there's nothing we can do about it.
Nothing we can do about it.
Nothing we can do about it. He's a lawyer. He's well-educated. He's got a number of journalistic awards and legal awards. He now writes for Salon.com. And I don't think he's kidding one bit when he says, we're past it. The judiciary has been completely deconstructed. It's obedient now to the executive branch, the White House, and Homeland Security. If they charge you as a terrorist, you're going to be convicted. It's where we've gotten to. It's taken a long time to get here. I know there's a lot of people that see almost everything the government does conspiratorially. I don't always look at it that way,
right?
Because I've been too close to it. Maybe I am too close to it. But I see it as an evolution because I've never believed government to be anything but a threat to its citizens.
Yes.
Government has always seen its citizenry as its number one threat. Not a foreign threat, not a foreign army, its own people. Government has always been like this.
I don't really know where to take this, Craig, because I have to say that I agree with you. I mean, I could just say, Craig, I agree with everything you're saying, and then just sort of fold my hands together and just kind of dwell on it for a while. But there must be something that can be done. But you're saying we would have to completely overturn the current judiciary and both houses of Congress before anything like that would even come close.
That's
and you saw what happened
in the midst of all of this, John. I mentioned this on your show and a few others. They're changing how this country functions,
yes,
specifically in the media, journalism, and the information is not getting into the people's hands. But while all of our protesting is going on, both houses of Congress passed unanimously H.R. 347. It's the Federal Restricted Buildings and Grounds Improvement Act of 2011. It was passed unanimously with only Ron Paul and two other Republicans voted against it. And it basically says the Secret Service can declare any area a restricted area, whether it's a NATO meeting, which is why several people were arrested. During Memorial Day, 35,000 people were arrested. But now, if they're protesting in what the Secret Service declares as a restricted area, it constitutes now a felony.
Yeah, it's a federal charge.
5 years in prison.
Yeah, it's a federal charge, even if you beat it. That's the thing about federal charges. You don't have to be guilty. It'll cost you everything you have just to defend yourself against it.
Correct. And again, once you've got a charge like that on your record, it makes it much easier for them to pursue you in other areas of the law. And basically, if you get a felony count against you, you can't vote, you can't own a gun. Your life is ruined. But more than that, is a number of things have happened just in the past year that I felt were the biggest news stories I've ever seen in my entire life. And I have PDF files of 500 pages in size that proves that these things are accurate and true. Namely, the first one is Lloyd's of London filed a lawsuit against the Saudi regime for its involvement in 9/11. You go through the case file, which it was immediately settled out of court, so it disappeared from the media, but the story is so clear that Saudi Arabia was behind 9/11 that it can't really be disputed any longer. Yet this story has no interest in our media's mind. The second one, $29 trillion, it's now $35 trillion, has been created out of thin air. That's twice the gross domestic product of America. $29 trillion created out of thin air over a 5-year period of time, lent out to institutions that were not in trouble. This isn't the TARP money. These are secret loans from the Federal Reserve directly to private corporations like Google and banks like the Bank of London, Saudi banks, British banks, make a